Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our lesson on the social implications of technology. In this lesson, you'll be looking at both the advantages and disadvantages of technology. So, if you take a look at the objects, you will note that we are covering the structure of the internet and its implications on society, personal data and information, and how this affects society, types of cybercrime, cybersecurity measures, how to protect yourself on the internet, and finally, the advantages of technology. Prior to this point, we have only covered the internet or the World Wide Web in terms of social interaction, how social interaction occurs on the World Wide Web, but we have not looked at the different stages or the different phases of the World Wide Web. So this is exactly what we will be covering in the next slide. In this slide, you will see that there's an iceberg. So we are using the iceberg floating on water as an analogy for the internet, showing the different levels or the different phases of the internet. You'll note that at the very top you have Wikipedia, you have Google, and you have Bing. These are common sites, common websites. You go on the internet, you search. Usually you would go on Google and you'd search whatever it is you want to find information on. And also the different social media sites that you access on a daily basis. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram form part of what we call the surface web because they are on the surface. So this is easily accessible information you can easily find just by going on any internet browser and searching information. There is some hidden information on the web, and we will get into that shortly. Next, we have the second level of the internet or the web. You have legal documents, scientific reports, and government resources stored at this level. So this is usually a level where there is a reasonable or reasonably higher level of security than on the surface web. Remember, on the surface web, you can easily find the information just by typing in. On the next level, which we call the deep web, is where government information is stored. So legal documentation, scientific reports, and government resources are stored at this level, and you would usually need clearance in order to access this information. The next level, which is the third level of the web.
You're about to hear Zuckerberg grilled by members of the U.S. Senate, asked about your personal information getting into the wrong hands. ABC's Barry Bruce was right there in the room.
Embattled Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg entered a packed hearing room, stepping into the congressional hot seat for the first time. The 33-year-old who invited billions to trust him with their personal information on his social network began with an apology.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
But senators weren't satisfied.
After more than a decade of promises to do better, how is today's apology different?
So we have made a lot of mistakes in running the company.
Zuckerberg was grilled about why Cambridge Analytica, the political consulting firm hired by the 2016 Trump campaign, was able to improperly harvest the personal information of 87 million Facebook users.
The video you just watched goes to show how social media giants have a say in how our information is used online. So you can just think about what happens to the information, your personal information that you share willingly and trusting that the person or the organization with which you share this information will respect it. On this slide, we are looking at the types of cybercrime. So cybercrime has to do with the illegal activity done online, and it includes hacking, denial of service attack, virus dissemination, computer vandalism, cyber terrorism, and software piracy. And these different cyber crimes also speak to how us as users of the internet would be implicated in that whatever information we share determines how our digital identity will be implicated, depending on whether or not, of course, we protect ourselves. And with so much web information, it is important for us to ask ourselves then, how can we protect ourselves online? Because we are living in the 21st century, and we cannot say that we will do away with technology and not participate. So in looking at the information we share online and how we can better protect that information, it is firstly important for us to realize that we need to educate ourselves. So you need to educate yourself in terms of cybersecurity, and there are various websites where you can get this information. Secondly, you need to create strong, unique passwords. This means that the password you create shouldn't just be a 1, 2, 3, 4 type of password. It needs to be something that's unique to you and that you can remember, other than your name, because it is easily guessable. Someone can just guess that you used your name as your password and try all sorts of configurations of your name to access your information. You should also enable multi-layer authentication. This means that once you have entered your password, you can have the option on other websites or on some softwares to include an additional way of identifying yourself, such as facial recognition. You can use fingerprint access to protect your information or your device. You can also be cognizant of the fact that the different websites you see or the different URLs you see may be riddled with a whole lot of insecure information, right? So you might have viruses on the website, so be careful which URL you choose to click on. Do not access suspicious looking websites. Backup your data regularly, so have a proper folder, a cloud service where you can store your information, because it could happen that your device is implicated and you lose all of your data. In that case, you can easily go back on the cloud service and access the information. You should also be careful of sharing financial information online. Do not share financial information online, even if it is with a bank that you bank with. Be careful of sharing financial information, even personal information. And even though an employee of the bank asks for this information, do not be so gullible as to provide it. You'd rather go to the branch and speak to someone face to face. So in terms of artificial intelligence cybersecurity softwares, there are many, but I have provided a list of 3 of them. You have Darktrace, Sophos, and Fortinet. These are softwares that, when installed in your device and cracked and enabled, they can protect your device from all sorts of viruses. So you go on the internet, you search for them, or you pay a subscription, you install them onto your device, you crack them, and they protect your device from all sorts of malware. And finally, to the advantages of technology. So in as much as we look at technology as this monster, it is important to realize that there are a lot of advantages to technology. It improves efficiency. You can do work much faster than you can manually. It ensures connectivity and collaboration. Collaboration is a very important 21st century skill. It improves accessibility of information. It advances medicine and education and all sorts of fields. And it is a source of entertainment. Many of us cannot deny the fact that we go on the internet to watch videos. Although they may be educational, they are very entertaining. I myself spend a lot of time on YouTube watching entertaining videos and not necessarily informative. Thank you very much for your attentiveness, and in the next lesson we will go in depth in terms of the social implications of technology, and you can also give your view of where you think technology is taking us. Thank you so much.